Okay, good morning, guys. Happy Monday morning. And yeah, we're going to start a new chapter today, chapter 9, forensic toxicology. We are going to spend about 2 weeks on this week and next week, and probably just do like a quiz at the end of the 2 weeks, not a major test grade. And then we'll spend 2 weeks on ballistics. And then to kind of wrap up the semester, I haven't quite decided what our last topic will be. I'm trying to hit kind of the most well-known types of forensic evidence. There's still a lot more that we're just not going to get a chance to cover. So here's what we're going to do today. Today we're going to intro the topic, look at the opening case study. What I do need you to do is take some notes. So the only thing about me just being doing this from home is you guys don't have the pre-printed notes packets that you guys like. So I did make a Google Doc that you guys will see in the assignments. It says, I think it says Tuesday homework. So you have today and tomorrow, complete it. And it's just what I did is I made a document that has like 20 questions. And we'll do little bits of the PowerPoint each day like I normally would in class. We just do it in sections. And then after the PowerPoint or during the PowerPoint, I will let you know important things you need to write down so you don't have to write down everything. And then after the video, you'll go open that document and answer. Today, you're only answering 3 questions. So it'll be about 3 to 5 questions a day. And then by mid next week, we will have gone through all the PowerPoint slides and the 20 questions, and then you'll have your notes, and we'll use those for a quiz next Friday. So you do need to be getting that done. You'll also be watching on forensic files this week and doing a little response on that. So that's kind of a little preview of what to expect this week. So forensic toxicology, what is it? What is it about? We're going to start with this opening case study here, and this is page 282 in your book, but I just went ahead and pulled it up. So you may or may not know who this guy is because it's been 2013. You guys probably weren't watching Glee 7 years ago when you were 10. I don't know. Anyway, but toxicology is basically all about finding drugs and substances in a body. And so it's forensic toxicologist is usually working with people that are either very, very sick and they don't know what's wrong, or someone who has died and they're trying to figure out what the cause of death was. So unfortunately, this chapter starts with a case study on a famous person dying, which is kind of unfortunate. But so here's another famous overdose. It says Cory Monteith, a 31-year-old co-star of the popular American musical drama television series Glee, was found dead in Vancouver, British Columbia hotel on July 13th, 2013. The coroner's service stated that the evidence found in his room was consistent with a drug overdose. It appeared that the death was accidental. The autopsy and toxicology tests confirmed that Cory died due to a combination of alcohol and heroin. Cory was raised in Canada by a single mother and had a troubled adolescence involving abuse of alcohol and marijuana from age 12. That's pretty young. After attending 16 different schools, he dropped out at the age of 16, but eventually received a high school diploma. To support his alcohol and drug dependency, Cory resorted to petty crime and stealing from his family. When he was 19, his family staged an intervention and he began attending a rehabilitation program. After rehab, Cory played in a band, drove a taxi, and was eventually discovered by an agent who helped him start an acting career. On Glee, Cory was cast as Finn Hudson, the good-looking quarterback with the boyish charm who dazzled audiences with his smooth voice. After 4 seasons on Glee, Cory's on-stage romance with character Rachel turned into a real-life romance with actress Lea Michele. It seemed that Cory had everything: a rising career, money, beautiful and talented girlfriend. He was voted one of the sexiest men alive, but he had his addictions. In April 2013, Cory went to rehab again. No one claims to know what went wrong. Close friends of Cory agreed with the medical examiner that Cory's death was likely accidental and not intended to be suicide. Combining drugs doesn't just double the effect of drugs, the effect is often exponential and is frequently deadly. We hear about overdoses all the time. They happen all the time. The only ones we hear about are celebrities. but it happens all the time. It's these chemical cocktails. It's using your body as a chemistry experiment and seeing what happens if you mix things. So that we'll talk about a lot of different accidental overdose cases of famous people. And you may know, I know of at least three, no, four, no, five between family and personal friends that have died of accidental overdoses of mixing drugs and alcohol, or just different kinds of drugs. So it happens all the time. We just hear about the famous people. So I'm gonna actually I have a little video about Cory. We're only gonna watch the first 2 minutes. It's kind of long, but let me just get to the beginning of this. And this is just a little bit about where'd my play go? Here it is. We turn up the. George, good morning. Sad to say this is exactly what people fear. Cory Monteith died in his hotel here this weekend from the very drugs he had been battling for so much of his adult life. The investigators now say it was clear the moment Cory Monteith toxicity involving heroin and there's the all-American good guy who dated his on-screen love, being the shot. And the grievance fighter started using drugs at 13, dropped out of school young, and some have been rehab as recently as just a few months ago. It was a challenge he was vocal about, legally, by his just like I know when I was a teenager. A clip is now being released showing Monteith in a soon-to-be-released film where he plays a drug addict. He says that drug is all experiences. Late Tuesday, the man Michelle's publicist released a new statement. The man has been grieving alongside his family, making appropriate arrangements with them, and supporting each other as they endure this birthday of life. In the end, fame and good fortune couldn't fight back a lifetime of addiction. The 41-year-old who appeared to have a lot, far from Hollywood, near the streets of his childhood. A sense of really being and complex experience in rehab that may cause him to fade out, and so he seemed to be off his. As far as investigators are concerned, this is as much like Heath Ledger, once his family has asked for privacy, funeral plans. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to exit out of that. So this is like I would have normally have shown in class, just a little bit more background on the story. Again, it was ruled accidental. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the PowerPoint. If I can do this. Oops, I did something wrong. Nope. Oh my gosh, come on, what am I doing? Where's my PowerPoint? Right here. Right there. Why is it not working? Don't make me have. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's go into presentation mode. Okay, so you are going to need something to take notes with. Not a whole lot today, because today I'm just going to kind of introduce you to the topic and just kind of give you a short introduction to it. So as we talk about forensic toxicology, we're talking about drugs and poisons and toxins. What's the difference between those things? What's toxicity mean? What does a forensic toxicologist do? We are going to talk about presumptive and confirmatory tests, which we did talk about presumptive blood testing. Remember the lab we did where we were testing the stains on the fabric, and we called it a presumptive blood test because we were just trying to confirm if it was blood. And so you may be hearing with all this COVID-19 craziness going on, people say somebody tested presumptive positive. And so presumptive testing is usually just a preliminary test, but it needs some kind of confirmatory test. So that's going to come up in this chapter, and it relates to actually some things that are going on today. Different ways people are exposed to toxins and poisons and drugs, and the relationship between the law, crime, and use of drugs. Some of these things I'm going to kind of skip over because we're just going to lightly cover this chapter. So again, there's Cory again. We already watched the YouTube video. These are some of the vocabulary words. I'm not going to make you do a list of vocab words. If at any point you're answering the questions and you can't remember what a word meant from the video, just use your book and go back and look up. These are all the vocab words at the beginning of the chapter. Okay, so introduction. You're going to want to jot this down. What is toxicology? Actually, you're going to want to write what forensic toxicology is. Well, hang on. Give me a second. Uh-oh. Why is my slides not going? Oh, here we go. Woo. Okay. I'm having some technical difficulties. Oh, crud. Uh-oh. What's happening? Oh, no. What's happening? Okay, here we go. Okay. Having a heart attack here. Okay, y'all can laugh at my videos. I hope they're entertaining. I'm pretty much sure this happens in class all the time, too. I don't know what I did. Oh, no. Did I just close my... I'm not starting over. I'm not starting over. Okay, whatever. We're gonna go right. Okay, we're gonna go to this one. We're gonna go right back in, and okay, there we go. We're just gonna hope. Okay, sheesh. Okay, so yes, you're gonna want to write this down. Toxicology is the study of substances that can harm a person. Okay, poisons, toxins, and drugs are examples of substances that can harm a person. So it's a study of substances that can harm a person. Forensic toxicology, so that's just toxicology. I think the question on your homework actually says what is forensic toxicology. Let me look at my little notes here. Yeah, so the second part here is more important. Forensic toxicology is determining basically that cause-effect relationship between somebody's been exposed to a drug or substance and how toxic or lethal was that exposure. Is that what caused them to get sick? Is that what caused them to die? Is that what caused them to have a seizure, whatever, heart attack, whatever it did? So forensic toxicology is you are studying these substances that can harm a person, but it's more about the relationship between the cause effect. What substance was it and what did it cause? What effect happened? Okay, so you might have to pause this to write this down, but I would get this part down in your notes. Okay, so I do have a short little what is forensic toxicology video, if it will work. Oh, there it goes. It's just like a minute and a half. Okay, so I'm just going to play it right here. A minute 50 seconds.
The unique job of a forensic toxicologist. A forensic toxicologist is an expert in toxicology. The toxicologist gives expert trial testimony as to cause of death or injury, following a meticulous examination. Many toxicologists are part of the crime scene investigative team, working in a lab run by law enforcement. History of forensic toxicology. In 1813, Matthew Origlia, a Spanish chemist, completed the first comprehensive work on forensic toxicology and is known as the father of toxicology. Matthew Origlia concluded the need for accurate proof of identification and quality assurance was paramount for accurate results. Moreover, he recognized the broad application of forensic toxicology in pharmaceutical, clinical, industrial, and environmental fields. What is a forensic toxicologist? A forensic scientist performs numerous experimental samples of bodily fluids in order to determine its foreign drugs, poisons, or toxic chemicals. A typical substance includes alcohol, oil, or prescription drugs. Other types of chemicals, poisons, metals, and gases such as carbon dioxide. The toxicologist uses very sophisticated instruments in a laboratory. They are then measured very precise to determine the absence or presence of these substances. Each step must be well documented, and the chain of evidence must be preserved as well. What training is necessary to become a toxicologist? A bachelor's degree in the physical sciences, chemistry, or biology is necessary. Although many have achieved higher degrees, employers consider pharmacology coursework a plus. For more information.
Okay, so that's just a brief if you're like just trying to wrap your head around what this chapter is about, what is forensic toxicology about, I just a short little thing I would have showed us in class if we were to get this. Really is just like class, because I'm always having technical difficulties in class. So okay, so this is something else you're going to want to jot down. Basically, how are people exposed to toxic substances? Well, there's two different things here. You pretty much need the information on this slide to answer the questions. The first one is a person may be exposed to a substance in any of the following ways. So they could be exposed to it in certain ways. And then down here, we're going to talk about how does it actually like get taken into their body. So it sounds like the same question, but it's really how are they actually exposed? Was it on purpose? Was it accidental? Was it intentional? And we'll talk about the differences there. And then how did it actually get inside their body is the second part. So the first one, intentional, accidental, and deliberate. Intentional and deliberate sound like they're the same, but let me kind of clarify. So intentionally is you took it on purpose because you were treating an illness. Like I had a headache, so I took some Tylenol. Or, I just had surgery and I have pain medication. I intentionally took a pain pill because I was trying to relieve some kind of pain. So that's what intentionally is. You took it for a specific purpose. There was nothing illegal about it. You were just trying to treat an illness. Accidentally is obviously, harmful combinations, like in Cory's case, the Monteith. Is that how you say his name? Anyway. His was accidental. He had been drinking all night, and then he obviously went and did some heroin, and the combination of alcohol and heroin was accidental. And most of the cases we're going to look at today were all accidental mixtures of drugs and alcohol, or just combinations of drugs. And then deliberate is like you are deliberately trying to basically kill someone or harm them by putting poison in there. Like I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the year when we were doing hair, we watched that Forensics Files of the wife that poisoned her husband, and they were able to like tell how long by, getting his hair. So that would be deliberate. She was deliberately trying to kill her husband and she was poisoning him. Okay. So those are three ways that we might actually be exposed, but then how do we actually get it inside our body? So one way is ingesting it, like the case that I was just talking about where the woman poisoned her husband. She was putting it in his food and he ate it. Inhaling it. It could be something in the air, something airborne that we accidentally inhaled. It could be intentionally inhaled. Usually something like that is accidental. Injecting, obviously injecting drugs. People do that. Or absorption. Did I spell that right? Absorption. No, I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Should be a P, shouldn't it? Sorry. See, this is just like being in class together. I spelled things wrong. So it could be that you were accidentally exposed to something and it was absorbed into your skin. So those are different ways it actually gets inside your body. Most of the time, you're going to be ingesting it or accidentally inhaling it. Or if you're intentionally doing drugs, it's, whatever they're going to be injecting. Okay, so make sure you've got this information because I'm pretty sure those are the first three questions, what we've already covered. Okay, this you don't have to write down, the history. I just want to give you a brief history, but you don't have to write any of this down. Because anyway, trying to keep it light. But back at 399 BC, like there's some writings and history about people using hemlock for poisoning. Socrates, one of the earliest reported victims of poisoning, hemlock poisoning. By the 1600s, I thought this is really interesting. Poisoning had actually become a profession. Like rich people would use it to like settle disputes. Like usually it was over like land ownership or inheritances. So like if they wanted to like get rid of somebody so that they could like inherit their land or their property or their money, they'd hire like people to go poison them. So that was kind of crazy. So that was like 400 years ago. And then around the 1800s, methods of chemical analysis were starting to be developed where they could actually identify poisons like in someone. So that wasn't until around the 1800s. So then around 1959, the FDA was formed. That's the Federal Drug Administration. I was originally going to have y'all write this down, but you don't need to. In 1970, Congress passed the Controlled Substances Act. And so it really wasn't until 1970, that's when I was little, so in my lifetime, that they actually started establishing penalties for possession of drugs and distribution and like selling drugs. So it's kind of interesting to think that there wasn't a consistent penalty for drug use and selling drugs until 1970. I thought that was interesting. In 1980, they started having more standardized techniques, how to test and determine cause of death. So it's fairly new technology. It's been in my lifetime, but it's obviously a lot more, what's the word, accurate today. There's not a lot of poisonings today. It used to be more common because nowadays everybody has a gun. and you have to think about it back in the 1600s, everybody didn't have a gun, so they would just poison each other. But today, obviously, it's stabbings and shootings and unfortunately terrible ways we kill each other. But only less than 0.5% of homicides are poisoning today. It's very, very rare. Some commonly used poisons are things like arsenic, which I think was in the case of the young man, the forensic files we watched back with the hair. I'm pretty sure it was arsenic. Cyanide, fertilizers. People will buy fertilizers, or rat poison, which has cyanide in it, or has arsenic in it. So I forget. I get them confused. Anyway, so that's a little history. So here's a couple of other accidental drug overdoses. You do want to jot down a couple of these because I believe there is one question. I forgot. It might be like question number 6. I kind of got out of order. That just says list a couple of examples of famous people. So one of them is that Cory Monteith. I think I'm saying it wrong, but you might not even know who some of these people are. John Belushi, he's kind of from my time when I was young. Heath Ledger, surely you guys know him. He was the Joker from Batman. Again, very similar to Cory's case. He died of I've got some slides that are more specific. Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. So Heath Ledger, he died as a result of acute intoxication by the combination of oxycodone, hydrocodone. These are painkillers. Diazepam, temazepam, I can't even say them all. Basically, look how many drugs he had in his system. It's crazy. And most of them were like painkillers or antidepressants, and he literally just took a bunch of medication. They do feel like it was accidental. The reason that they usually come up with why they feel like it's accidental is because toxicologists, they can tell how much, like the quantity of the drug that is in their blood. And if it's the normal dosing amount, like if, the pill bottle says take 1 pill, twice a day. But he took, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things. So he took the recommended dosage, but he took 6 different things that don't work well together. So usually that's why it's ruled accidental, but maybe he did do it on purpose. Maybe he did take one of each, knowing it would kill him. They'll never know. Elvis Presley. Let's see. He was, okay. There's claims of a cover-up because some people say he's still alive. So I don't know if you've ever heard those rumors, but he had codeine and Valium and morphine and just a few. And fun fact, so I remember when they announced on the radio when Elvis Presley died, I was probably in 3rd or 4th grade, and I was over at a friend's house and we were playing. And I remember too, we had made like a car out of like pillows. You kind of make a fort, but we made a car and we had like a radio in it and we had like a fake steering wheel. I mean, I was a kid. You remember stuff like this. And we had the radio on and they literally came over the radio saying Elvis Presley had died. And we were like, oh my gosh. So anyway, fun fact. Maybe I'll make that a bonus question. Where was Miss Offutt when Elvis Presley died, when she heard Miss Elvis Presley died? So my friend Jay's house, and we heard it on the radio. Okay, Michael Jackson, another accidental overdose. He was super addicted to pain relievers. Propofol. I'm not saying that right. His was really interesting too because he actually had a doctor that was not prescribing. Yeah, well, prescribing it and actually giving it to him. And the doctor claims that Michael Jackson just kept asking for more of the drug, and the doctor claims that when he had left to go to the bathroom, Michael Jackson gave himself more of it. I mean, it's kind of crazy. The guy ended up going to jail and losing his license. So it's kind of crazy. So another sad case, Whitney Houston. Again, I'm not going to show these videos. If we can always come back to them on a different day. But they're just some more stories about just how long she struggled with drug addiction and drinking, and it led to her death. Prince, another one, fentanyl, with this time accidental overdose of it's an opioid. We know that there's so many addictions to opioids. His full name, just an FYI, was Prince Rogers Nelson. He was 57, and he was found unresponsive in the elevator at his Paisley Park home in Minnesota. So apparently he had an elevator. The toxicology test for Prince concluded that the entertainer died from an accidental overdose of the opioid fentanyl. And just a little FYI about fentanyl, it's prescribed by doctors for cancer treatment. It can be made illicitly and is blamed for the spike in overdose deaths in the United States. It's 25 to 50 times more potent than heroin and 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. So it's a pretty dangerous drug, and a lot of people are addicted to it. Okay, so I think that's where I'm stopping. Yeah, so today I really just wanted to do the opening case study. Let me show you, I didn't. Okay, we talked about Cory's case. We watched a little video about him, kind of looked at some of the vocab, lots of that video, exposure, history, accidental overdoses. Yeah, that's all on my notes. Okay, so let me escape out of this really quick. Just come back to Cory. So what you'll be doing is all of this stuff that I'm talking about too, if you want to go back and if you didn't get the notes down for some reason, if I can, yeah, it's not going to load. Oh, look at that. There's all the vocabulary. And all of this stuff that I talked about, toxicology, what is intentionally, accidentally, deliberate, everything I talked about is in these first few pages. So if you're having trouble answering any of the questions, here's where you're going to find your questions. You're going to go to our classwork stream. Oh, by the way, did everybody look at the winners of the scavenger hunt competition? I'm going to pull that up. Where is it at? No. Okay. So I completely forgot to do this earlier in the video, but shout out to the winners. If you haven't looked, okay, so these were amazing. And I did have the comments turned off. Sorry, I love you guys, but I did turn the comments off. I turned them on so I could make comments, and then I turned them off again. So that's why there's comments, if you were wondering. But first place was Will, because this was just amazing. Where did it go? Oh, there he is. So you can click on the picture and get a better view of him. Oops. Or not. Oh, come on. Okay, this is just not going to cooperate, is it? Where's my second place? Where's Truman? Where's he at? Am I overlooking him? Truman, you did not delete your picture, did you? Oh, there you are. Okay, so this was our second place winner. I mean, his dog is, I don't even know if it's a boy or a girl, but the dog's adorable, and I would have loved to have seen the video of him knocking it over when you were done. Will's is a pretty creative recreation of, I don't know who this is. You guys probably know who it is. I don't know who that is. Who is that? That's not E-Man, is it? Didn't he play for the Heat? I don't know. But that was pretty cool. And then I loved Katie's. They were all really great. Where was Katie's? It was over here, because she was actually doing something really sweet with her parents. And she got both parents in the picture. So thank you for playing along. So when you go to the classwork, you're going to see Monday, Tuesday together. Instead of posting a Monday video or a Monday assignment and a Tuesday assignment, I'm gonna try and make this week be a little bit more like a typical school week, where I see you on Monday, we do a couple things in class, and then you might have something due for Wednesday, you might not. So I'm gonna post them together, so you're not having to see something new on Tuesday. So once you get to the Tuesday homework, you'll open this. If you view the assignment, you'll see that it tells you just to open this attached document. So once you open it, and you guys did this with the activities last week too, you just put your name here and start typing in the answers. Like, here's the first three. What's forensic toxicology? Just click in here and type your answer. How can they be exposed? How do they enter the body? And then I forgot where the famous people are. We'll get to it. It's down there. But you don't have to submit it to me. When you're done, you just close it, because you can't see this, but this is what I see on my side. See how there's already a document with your names on it already? I already have access to every one of your documents because I created it. So you just go in, you type, you close it, and you're done. And then the next time you want to get to it, all you have to do is go to your Google Drive. Just go to your drive, and it depends on how many things you've opened for your other classes. You should be able to see it in your, quick access, or at least down here. I got a gazillion things, but you should be able to just find it right here and you just open up the same document again. So I just wanted to give you a little heads up on that. I think you guys have pretty much figured that out. But I just wanted to make sure that you saw that. So it says Tuesday homework. It's not due till Friday, all the questions, but I really recommend you do just a few questions each day as we go along. The other thing is this forensic files assignment that I'd like you to watch. And I would like you to get that done this week as well. You're going to watch this video, and then we're going to do something a little different. Instead of you telling me like the details of who, what, when, and where, I want you to tell me what you learned, specifically like what you found interesting about the video or the case, really. And then what items did you learn? Like, I learned that you could do this, and I learned that they could do this, and I learned that scientists figured this out, and I thought it was really interesting that they could do that. So I'm looking for like some really good answers. And then any questions you might still have, like, how did they do that? Or what's up with that dude? And, whatever, any specific questions. So again, when you're done typing it again, you just close it and I will get them. So I think that's long enough. Yeah. Please don't forget to respond to my Meaningful Monday Moments, because I really want your input. So go back and watch that if you skipped it, because I want everybody to answer. And again, I miss you guys. I hope you're doing well, and let me know if you have any questions. All right. Bye, guys.